Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Math Help Squared. As promised, this video is going to go over simplifying fractions, which when you simplify them, you are basically creating equivalent fractions or at least identifying them. Let's go over some conceptual understanding of fractions in general and of equivalent fractions, and then we'll go into some strategies into simplifying them. So I'm going to be linking a couple of things for you. I'm going to be linking 25 by 25 multiplication table and braining camp again, because we are going to use the fraction tiles for understanding. So on the cover here of the video, we have that a half is the same thing as 2/4 and is also the same thing as 3/6. So this is what I meant by the conceptual part of the understanding, right? So here you can see that the size of these fractions is the same. Now, Braining Camp offers 30-day free trial, but you don't have to just use Braining Camp. You can also use what they call cuisenaire rods. And just for the sake of making sure that you guys can search that if you wanted to, cuisenaire rods, they come either labeled or blank, so you can use those physical, they're not digital, or you can search them up and you might be able to find some PDF versions that you can cut out or other ones, but you can use that and you can use Braining Camp. But the point of it is to understand that if these sizes of blocks all together, then these are our equivalent fractions. So I can go back to the board here and we can say, here are our equivalent fractions. 3/6 is the same thing as 2/4, which is the same thing as a half. And you might be saying, well, how are they the same if I clearly see different fractions and different digits, right? Well, the reason why is because if you find the true value of the fraction, if you have 1 out of 2 pieces, you have exactly 5/10, so 0.5 or half of those, right, of what you're supposed to have or whatever the whole is. And if you do, let's say we already went over long division, 2 divided by 4 is what? That's right, same thing, 0.5, a half. And if you do 3 divided by 6, you will get the same exact thing, right? So all these values, you can't argue about that they're the same, right? So we have here equivalent fractions. And if you were to actually do the division part to find their value, then you would see that the values are the same. So just don't forget that this fraction bar is actually also a division bar. So you can write this as 1 divided by 2, or you can write this as 1 divided by 2, which is all the same as a half, right? Okay, so we have equivalent fractions, we have the cuisenaire rods, we have the Braining Camp to help us with the understanding. Now, how about strategies as far as simplifying them? For example, what if I asked you to simplify something like 12/36? What are some strategies? Well, this is where the multiplication table comes in handy. Let's say I don't know my multiplication tables that great, especially 12. Then you can come here onto the table and take a look at 12 to see if you ever get to 36. And as a matter of fact, you do. It takes 3 12s to make 36. This means that they have something in common, and you can divide by that same number. So 12 divided by 12 is 1, and 36 divided by 12 is 3. Now, to test it, let's do 12 divided by 36 in your calculator or by long division if you want to practice that. And you'll get the same thing that you get if you do in the calculator 1 divided by 3. So if you guys like, I can also put Desmo's scientific calculator in there for you. And that way you have that. Hopefully when you did your division, you noticed that you got 0.3 repeating, right? And when you did 1 divided by 3, you got the same thing. So this is how you can test if you did it right. Now, let's pretend I wasn't looking at my multiplication chart. Let's pretend it's a quiz and I'm not allowed that material. I don't know. What if I tried dividing by 6 instead? Or maybe even 3? What would happen? Okay, well, 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 36 divided by 6 is 6. Hopefully here, since you have something that looks smaller, okay, I'm saying looks smaller because really we just established that these values, if it's equivalent fractions, these values are the same. So I don't want anybody to say anymore that we are reducing these fractions, because we're not reducing them. We're not changing their values. What we're doing is we're finding equivalent fractions. And if they say to simplify the fraction, it's because they're looking for the one where the only thing that the numerator and denominator have in common is actually 1, right? Right here, 2 and 6 both have 2 in common still. So let's do that. Let's divide 2 by 2, and let's divide 6 by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Boom. I still was able to get it in simplest form. It just took an extra step, and that's okay. All right, so all these fractions are equivalent. The 1/3, the 2/6, and the 12/36. Right now, if you do 2 divided by 6, guess what you're going to get? That's right, 0.3 repeating, okay? So this is simplifying fractions. If you guys need more examples, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks.